Hi, I'm Kenny Klaus, and this is State 48 Homeowner.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the State 48 Homeowner Podcast. I'm Scott Kooiman, and with me today is Angela McInnes. How you doing, Angela?
I'm doing great, Scott.
So this is the State 48 Homeowner Podcast, and neither of us are actually from Arizona originally.
That's correct. When we were talking about, I'm from Michigan, so the Midwest, and, my experience moving here 21 years ago, I would have loved to have had somebody introduce me to just about Arizona and what you wouldn't expect, if you will. So this is going to be a fun podcast.
Yeah, and I came from California. Ooh.
Like many of our clients.
I came from California, I think 19 years ago. So I think we came about the same time. And yeah, they didn't tell us a whole lot.
No.
So let's go through the 12 things that I wish they put in the brochure.
Exactly. These are the things that if we would have known prior to, it would have made things a lot easier. Yeah. So glad we can share this.
So we'll start with number 12, the haboobs and the dust storms.
It's a real thing.
It is a real thing. They're crazy. It gets dark super quick. It gets very, very windy. I moved out here on July 13th.
Oh my gosh, I moved out on July 10th. So we both had a rude awakening.
I had an afro out here. And I cut it probably about 10 days in. And it got short. But when I moved, the house I had bought didn't have a patio, and I had a Rottweiler at the time, and so I needed to get some shade. So my dad was in town to help me move, and we went to Lowe's, got a gazebo, and went and put it in. And I was like, I should probably anchor that. And so I went to Home Depot the next day to get the anchor bolts to anchor it to the patio slab, and I came home and there was no gazebo.
Oh wow.
And so I was like, somebody steal my gazebo, and so I started driving around and I saw a crumpled mass between it was not my neighbor's house, but between him and his neighbor, and took out a little stucco on my neighbor's wall and took out a couple
not a good way to meet your neighbors.
No, fortunately the builder was still building in the next neighborhood over, and so they actually came over and fixed it for free, which made it pretty nice. But yeah, great way to meet the neighbors. Hi, I just moved in. I'll pick up the shards that are left of my gazebo. So I bought 2 gazebos that week.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and had to install both of them.
Yeah, well, you don't realize it. Like you said, they come in quickly. They're almost instantaneous as far as the haboobs that flow in. And this is our prime time of year of July and August, like the beginning of August, that we get those. And like you, moving here in July, nobody seemed to prepare me for this. People that I was meeting, moving in and starting my job, nobody seemed to care to share this. And all of a sudden I'm driving down the road and literally it is a massive dust storm.
Yeah, and unfortunately a lot of people don't know how to drive in a dust storm, and you're going to want to pull over, turn off your lights, get your foot off the brake, and just pray.
And that's exactly it. Coming from Michigan, I've drove in snow, never in a dust storm, 10 times worse. Yeah. So yeah, great piece for that. Pull off, turn off your lights, take your foot off the brake, and just wait until it goes through, which is pretty quick.
Yeah. And it is monsoon season that we start to see some things that we want to pay attention to. We want to pay attention to, because that's when all the water comes down. We want to go outside and see where the water is pooling. We don't want it to pool up against the house.
Right.
And so if you're just moving to Arizona, you might have some issues with drainage. And so then we're just going to put some dirt or gravel in that area and let it slope away. We also want to pay attention to our roof tiles.
Correct.
We have, so in my neighborhood, there is a person that really, really loves to drone. And so they, for free, will go, if you just put in the little Facebook group, hey, can you check my house? they'll come by usually September, October-ish, after monsoons have come through, and they will go and photo your roof for you, and you can see if you have any cracked tiles, loose tiles, slip tiles, those kinds of things.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit on this list, that's for sure, because I don't think people are prepared for roof. Why am I so concerned about a roof in Arizona? But we'll get to it in a couple more on the pod, or down in the list on this podcast.
So that's number 12. What's number 11?
Number 11, I absolutely love. Call me a geek, a nerd, but here in Arizona, we don't have where you have to go to the DMV for anything but just getting a license or an ID. Mm-hmm. Meaning, when I came from Michigan, we had the Secretary of State. And when we wanted to renew our plates or, get a new plate, renew a registration for your vehicle, you actually had to go in person. Mm-hmm. Here, everything can be done online. Transferring vehicles between sellers and buyers. I just did that recently within the last couple weeks. Didn't even have to step foot. Get your tags for your vehicle, personalized license plate. You can even see what the personalized license plate's going to look like before you even get it. Talk about a time saver.
Yeah, and I can't think of the last time I actually went to an MVD. Because my son for his permit.
Sure.
So for permits, for licenses, yeah, they're going to need to take your picture. But other than that, I mean, you're pretty solid. The other thing that's neat is, Service Arizona, you can do online for just about everything. And then emissions is really painless in Arizona. There's a couple service centers all over the place. You just kind of pull in, get in line, go through, and it's pretty quick. In California, you had to go to a place. It was like a gas station kind of thing. They would check you and then tell you how much it would be to fix it and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's incredibly quick, incredibly easy. Don't go to the actual MVD.
No. And what's nice is it's relatively affordable compared to a lot of other states and other locations.
Yeah, especially coming from Chicago and California. Yeah.
Definitely more expensive there.
Now, number 10, we have mountains, we do get snow, and we have lots of forests. I don't think people understand that how beautiful the Rim is.
It's gorgeous.
The White Mountains, we have so much. I mean, when you go up to the Rim and you look, you can't see anything that is not thick forest.
Correct.
For as far as the eye can see, and you're elevated, so you're seeing quite a far away. But yeah, it's most people just think Arizona is going to look a lot like Phoenix and Tucson and just deserts. No, it's about a third of our state is the largest continuous grove of ponderosa pines in the world.
It's absolutely beautiful, like you were saying, up in the northern part, around the Rim. Any time of year. The spring, the summer, the fall, the winter, we talk about just the views that you can have and just the dense forest that is out there. And I actually was requested when I was heading through Arizona to do a road trip with a cousin of mine to take pictures because they did not believe me that it wasn't all desert. So I had to, have proof. And even this last winter, we were doing a ski trip. Yes, a ski trip up to northern Arizona, up to Sunrise. And we actually got caught in a blizzard and had to pull off to the side of the road. And we have a 4x4 truck. And we still had to pull over, wait for the plows to come through. And, my heart's racing like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen this much snow since, 2002 when I left Michigan.
It's not just centered to one place either. There's 3 very distinct areas to ski and snowboard in Arizona, and they are not close to each other at all.
No. In fact, you're not going to jump from each one, right? So. Yeah, and once in a while, once in a blue moon, if you will, we'll see snow in this area of Phoenix. We've seen it in Scottsdale. I have pictures of it snowing in Mesa. Yeah. So it doesn't last by any means, but it's still
but it's always amazing
neat
to see the superstitions with snow on them.
Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Number 9 is interesting.
Yeah.
And it's more confusing, I think, for us than the rest of the...
Dealing with the rest of the country.
Absolutely.
Because the rest of the country just can't play along here.
No, they can't. For now, we are one of the very few places that does not change for daylight savings time.
So it's us in Hawaii, basically, and then a couple other areas here and there. But
I think Indianapolis. The city of Indianapolis. But the rest of them, yeah. So maybe they're just as confused.
More confusing,
It's so funny, though, because you think about daylight savings, and again, for me especially, I think coming from the Midwest, where literally we'd wake up at dark and we'd drive home from work in the dark. During the winter season. And so it was nice when summer came, because then you had summer until 9 o'clock at night, 9:30 before the sun went down. But trying to coordinate conversations with people when you're outside of that time zone, it's a challenge.
Yeah, and I think being where we are geographically helps out quite a bit. I think it would be a struggle for places like Michigan, where it's bright sunshine at 9 o'clock at night, but for here, we're lower. The times don't change that drastically,
right?
And we've just kind of gotten used to it. The challenge is, most people think that in real estate we don't interact with people in other states. We do quite a bit,
time.
And we have tons and tons of meetings, and it's just we have to make sure that our Outlook calendar is set to Arizona when we have a recurring. Because otherwise it changes and we don't realize it.
Right. And
but other than that, So the way that I remember is in the summer we align with Los Angeles, in the winter with Denver. So when it's cold, we align with Colorado. When it's hot, we align with California.
That's a great way to think about it. I never thought of that. Good tip. 21 years in, thanks. But if we can save somebody else some pain, I think that was spot on.
This video is brought to you by Klaus Team Real Estate Solutions. The Klaus Team is different. With the Klaus Team, you have someone on your side. Where you live and make memories is important. We have more unique strategies than anyone else to help you accomplish what matters most to you. We can help you with traditional real estate as well as other options such as our lease purchase programs. We can help you buy first then sell, and we can bring you instant offers. We're here to help our neighbors achieve the American dream and help them build wealth through home ownership. For more info or to start your home search, visit us online at klausteam.com. So if we're talking about daylight, let's talk about our cars. They get incredibly hot.
Yes.
Sunscreens and tinted windows are a must.
Must-haves.
You don't see that many people in Arizona driving around without tinted windows, and it's not because we don't want people to.
You have to wonder how long they've lived here. Actually,
it's not because we don't want people to see us. It's just because it is the blazes of the sun beating down on the car, and we have to be able to survive in there. So sunshades, sunscreens on the windows, on the on the south-facing windows of the house. All these kinds of things are just must-haves.
Why do you say south side of the house? I know this, but let's talk about that. Arizona has more of a southern sun.
Yes.
Most people are going to say, oh, no, you need them all fully on the west.
No.
We actually have a southern sun here in Arizona, and people don't realize that. So when you are talking sunscreens or you're talking about parking your vehicle, you are concentrating on a south-southwest, for protection, if you will. So it's interesting. Yeah,
and in the morning, you're not too concerned with the east-facing side of the house. But, when you are looking for a house, that's one of the biggest things that we do put in the MLS when we're listing homes is that north-south exposure, because it makes a huge difference on electric bills, on cooling, on staying cool, and then just, making sure the house is designed well. My house, I have plantation shutters and sunscreens on all of the south-facing window. Well,
as do I.
Plantations all through, but sunscreens on the back. And I just generally keep those windows closed in the summer, except for the Arcadia door, and it's not a big issue.
And what's nice about the sunscreens when we're talking about that is they are strong enough as far as meaning preventing that sun and that heat coming through, yet to be able to see out, you still have full visibility, and they're just, to make sure that people understand this, they're add-ons,
Yes.
and they just clip in. It's not actually replacing your existing screen.
you'll still-
it goes over the
yeah.
entire window. So when you have half a screen and half window, because of when you're opening it, whether it's up and down or side to side, they clip on, but they easily come off.
And you just kind of forget they're there too. It's 'cause like you said, you can see out of them. In Arizona, we are not opening our power windows.
Not right now. Not during summer, I should say. Now, during the beautiful times of the month, or beautiful times of the year, excuse me, absolutely, my windows are open. Summertime, no, I don't want
So
to.
you can take them off in the winter if you'd like, but most people just leave them on.
We'll take them off because I like the winter here, but not everybody likes to have what we'll talk about in a couple more. So talk to us about number 7. When we were talking about roof and roof tiles and having that drone, which I think is phenomenal. What a great neighbor that you have. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so roof and HVAC, you've got to do preventative maintenance all year long. And just a couple times a year, you need to be changing those filters on your HVAC. In dust times, 30 days is generally pretty good. When the dust isn't up so much, you might be able to get by with a month or two, but changing those out pretty quick. Most of them are incredibly inexpensive. I get mine on Amazon, and they come in a big old box.
Yeah, you buy the inexpensive ones. Any HVAC or home inspector will share with you. Get the inexpensive ones and just be religiously committing to changing them out the first of every month, even through the less dusty times of the year, just because then you're in that habit, right? And they just continuously
I have
change
seasonal
out.
allergies. I don't put the allergen ones in. It's just so expensive. I'm just changing them out anyway. So, and no matter what I put in there, I'm going to have allergies.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I went took the kids to Lake Tahoe, literally got off the plane, and by the time I got to where the people sit to get on the next plane, I was sneezing already.
Oh, wow.
And the whole time I was up there, I hadn't sneezed a single time. Because it's the mesquites and the Palo Verdes for me, and that, it's in the air. There's a ton of stuff in the air. There's other pollen. There is dust. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, we want to make sure that we're keeping those filters clean, but we're also making sure that we're going to have at least an annual checkup by our HV professional.
Well, AC every, late winter, as we'll call it, that February, March is perfect time. And then, doing the heat portion of it, having your system checked out in that September, October
that's
time.
That's what a lot of people don't realize is you can't really check out the heat in the summer, and you can't check out the AC too much in the winter.
No, you've got to make sure that the outside ambient temperature is not too far off from the inside temperature, so therefore you can't really test it.
Yeah, our home inspectors really can't test all that stuff. If in the middle of the summer they can't test the heater. Right. It's just not going to work. And
like with your vehicle, we get oil changes, we have brakes and so forth. Doing preventative maintenance, even on ourselves, right? We do preventative maintenance. It's going to make it last longer and just have better results and just perform at a higher level. So that's why we say the preventative on the HVAC. But let's talk about roof.
Yeah, we want to make sure.
Important.
Yeah, we want to make sure that we're checking to make sure that we don't have cracked or loose tiles, slip tiles, that the mortar caps are not cracked and moving and falling off. But also checking in those valleys and making sure that we don't have too much debris on there. We'll often get that in the spring from pollen and stuff that the trees are dropping. We will get that in the fall when the trees are getting rid of their leaves.
Yeah, we do have a bit of a change here. People think it's just cactus all the time.
Yeah, it doesn't. The trees don't change color much, but you'll look out and it's this beautiful full tree, and then 2 days later
it's
gone.
empty. Yeah. But you're right. You want to check for those. What the big thing is, we mostly have the clay tiles on our roof. So just to differentiate from different areas. Now, I know in California, there's a lot of areas that will have the clay tile, but they don't have the sun like Arizona does. And it's not really the tile that we're checking for. What we're doing is that tile acts as a barrier to that that felt paper or that underlayment that goes underneath the tile. So that's
the roof you see is not the roof.
Exactly. That's why we say to correct those cracked tiles, or if they've slipped, because we're actually preventing and protecting.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where most people don't understand. And really, I have it done every 2 years on our roof. Have our preferred roofing company come out. They come out, they inspect, they make sure all those tiles are in place, the mortar caps, and then having our landscaper. Yes, our landscaper will get up there and blow it off in the spring and in the fall, which is perfect.
Yeah.
So preventative maintenance will go a long way.
So as we get into the backyard, so Arizona, we've got a lot of desert landscape. We have hardscape, and some people have grass. A lot of people have made the transition to artificial turf. And one of the things people learn real quick is...
It's hot.
It's hot.
Well, that's it. You think, you were talking about, we have the hardscapes and the desert landscaping. Yeah. So it's all brown, right? I mean, we do have some green trees and what have you. And we have bushes, more, styles for the desert landscaping, but we don't see a lot of grass. So what people want to see is green.
Yeah.
So they put the artificial turf in, not realizing when the key word there is artificial. It's mostly plastic.
Yeah, it's
plastic gets hot.
It's outdoor carpet.
Exactly. And we have to watch when you're walking barefoot or your animals, because the pads of their paws are just like our bare feet. It gets hot and you have to hose it down to cool it off.
Yeah. So you just spray it down. If you're going out there, just, put on some sandals or shoes or something like that. And we were talking earlier that the dogs don't seem to be that fazed by the heat of it. Kids do.
Yes.
But the other thing that I've, even when you've got water, one thing to keep an eye out, I have artificial turf in the backyard, and we had a slip and slide when the kids were younger. You don't want to do that all day long because it's not like normal dirt. There's no roots in there, and you will get canyons and things like that.
Yeah, so, it doesn't have a saturation quite like turf does, real turf.
But just spraying it down, and for pets, if you have pets with an artificial turf, there is a simple green solution. You can spray every 6 to 8 weeks and keeps the smell down. But you do need to treat your artificial turf a little bit differently. Don't just run out there and start doing lawn angels in the summer. Spray it down a little bit first.
The good news is we do have a podcast on artificial turf, how to take care of it and so forth. And I always point my clients that either purchase a home with artificial turf, or I have clients that'll call me, after they've moved in a year, 2, 3 years, and they want to put it in. I always guide them in that direction to the artificial turf, because we're pretty much key here in Arizona. You see it everywhere. So you want to learn about it.
And a couple great things about it. You're not going to have to mow it in the middle of summer.
I forgot about that. That is a great point.
You do have to weed. Weeds will grow up through it and around the edges. So you do still have to take care of it. But water usage is so much less, and you get to have the beautiful lush lawn. They look real now.
Oh gosh, yes.
If you get one, don't get one that's all green. Get one that's got the brown in it. And,
right, the color through it, and it looks real. I've actually had clients that we've all gotten down. Is this grass or is this artificial turf? Because some look so real,
and some feel pretty real too.
Absolutely.
So we're talking about putting water on the artificial turf. What else do we need to know about the water?
Oh, Arizona is like nowhere else that I even visit. We have hard water.
Hard water.
Oh, it is so hard on not only us, our fixtures in our houses, just the lime and what's in the water. Yeah, a key selling point is a soft water loop for a house. Yep. And unless you experience Arizona hard water for a period of time, call it just 2 days, you'll be begging for a soft water loop. It's absolutely so hard on your skin, your hair.
And even a lot of times with the soft water loop throughout the house, you still need to take your shower heads and dip them in CLR every now and then. And,
oh, yes.
Because you'll still get some deposits, but not as much without the soft water loop. Yeah, it's just it's crazy to when you see a house that doesn't, and you just look at those shower heads, the sinks. It's just starting to get caked with white, and the sprayers are all going different directions.
Right. Yeah, the first house that I bought when I moved here, it didn't have a soft water loop, and I didn't think of it, and my realtor didn't think to talk about it. So it was, I moved in, and I want to say it was within the first year. It wasn't very long. All of a sudden, like you said, I'm looking at my shower head and I'm like, why are my sprayers going this way? I'm down here. You should be coming down here. And I started talking to some friends and neighbors about, does this happen to you? And they're like, oh, you need a soft water loop. So now, like I said, you kind of learn from experience. I make sure to share that with people that are relocating here from other states, because it is very hard. And it's so hard not only on us, like we said, on the fixtures.
And you'll want to check your irrigation as well. If you start to see some plants dying, it might be that your drip emitters are clogged, because your soft water loop is generally not going to take care of your irrigation. That's
correct.
Different. So it's only in-house, and so just pay attention. I just looked out in the backyard the other day and saw a couple dying plants, so that's what I'm going to do this weekend. Check out those emitters.
You gotta love doing that in the middle of summer, isn't it?
So there are a lot of dirt and chemicals and things like that in our water, but it's also in the air.
Yeah, we talked about it, a couple steps back, about making sure we change out our filters in our HVAC system and, and so forth. It's dusty here. Yeah. I know we are in a desert, and it's kind of like somebody's probably sitting there listening to this going, well, yeah, you live in a desert. Yeah, there's going to be dirt and dust.
It's everywhere.
It is. It is absolutely everywhere. And you can't, remember how you said just a few short minutes ago, we don't open our windows a lot in Arizona, because it is hot from, let's call it April to October. You're not going to be opening your windows during that time. I cannot express how much dust I have in my house on a day-to-day basis.
With all the windows closed,
exactly.
The filters all done. Right. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's everywhere, and you go outside, and it's especially after the dust storms, obviously.
yeah, those are boobs.
The cars, you can park at work and come out and not realize that something came through, and it's just covered in dust. But that's another thing that I have allergies with, is dust, and it just drives me nuts. But yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah, I sneeze more during the summer months than I have ever sneezed wherever I've lived. It's that dust is just right there, and it gets all over. You can see it. I never thought I had to wash windows as much as I have to wash windows here. Not to deter anybody, but yeah, you're going to have to be prepared to do a little bit more washing and dusting. That's for sure.
And the closer you live to wide open spaces, the more you'll experience that.
Correct.
So,
correct.
Yeah, back to the reservation, and we just seem to feel like we get a little bit more dust where we're at.
Yeah, those open plains, just that wind just carries it off, and yeah, like you said, you can come out of work a couple hours later, and you're just running your hand across the car, and going, yeah, it's dusty.
So, Angela, for number 3, I know this is not a skincare podcast, but
it could be.
Dry skin is a thing here.
Yes. Oh my goodness, yes. For somebody who actually experiences dry skin anyway, it's just my skin type is dry. First moving here, I literally became a snake. I mean, within just a matter of a week, I could tell just skin cracking, your anything that's exposed, more so than anything. You have to use lotions. You have to make sure that you hydrate your skin. And I love going barefoot. If I could every weekend, I'd just be barefoot the whole time. You can't do it. Your heels will get cracked and sore, and you've got to. You got to take it in segments, yes.
And then moisturize, and whether it's lotions or Vaseline or whatever you use to keep your feet moisturized. It's so dry. It's nuts.
Well, we can sit here and praise about it's a dry heat, right? Everybody sits there and goes, oh, it's so hot. And we'll say, yeah, it's a dry heat. Well, with dry heat, you get dry skin. Yeah. That's for sure. And your lips. Oh my gosh, I've never owned so many tubes of like a lip balm.
Mm-hmm.
And I have it stored in every fridge because if you don't leave them in your car, you're constantly having to do that because it's just this dusty dust bowl of Arizona will suck the dryness right out of you.
And it's not on our list, but yes, don't leave stuff in your car.
Yeah, maybe that should have gone when we were talking about the sunscreens and the tinting. Yeah. That's not foolproof.
No, don't.
That's not going to keep the inside of your car cool. It's just not going to make it unbearably hot where you can't get in.
Don't leave sodas in there.
Oh,
don't leave.
No.
Sodas
you don't leave anything.
Blow up. Anything that can melt or anything.
Right.
So, talk about cars. You're going to be in them a while. Because every time that you think that the road is perfect, in Arizona, the roads are always under construction. Always.
Well, different from you. You came from California. You did have a little bit more of some change. In Michigan, we had the 4 seasons. Mm-hmm. And there was no road work going on when there's snow, and we would get snow in October, and we would get snow into April, right? Where I came from, and I was the Lower Peninsula, the southeastern part of it, and so we joked that the season of summer was actually road construction. Well, guess what? We have beautiful weather year round. And even in the 115, 120 degrees that we might get, you still see road construction and those workers out there. So give them a break, as they say.
And just know it's there. They'll put up signs sometimes. Sometimes it just kind of pops up. And sometimes the construction can be a couple weeks. Sometimes it can be a year and a half. But you just know that we're always going to have construction because we are growing. Arizona, once again, the number one inbound state for out of the all 50 for last year for people moving here, and things are just growing, and they have to change the infrastructure, and sometimes the road is just perfect, and all of a sudden they need to put in a new water line or something like that. So.
Right? Yeah, it's not necessarily that it's damaged, as you were saying, and I live
especially in the older areas. It's just something that can't be helped. I know. Over Dobson Ranch in Mesa, they had to put in a completely new sewer line because that thing was, 70 years old.
Yeah, it's going to need to be changed. Yeah. So I live by the ADOT app. I think it's 511. I don't even know the name of it because I just go to it all the time. Exactly. Love the apps on our phones. Just because there'll be closures and you don't know, and because I'm serving clients in the west side, the east side, up in Scottsdale, or, the lower parts. You have to be mindful of watching, what is closed, what is maybe restricted, things of that nature. Arizona does a great job, though, of letting you know.
Yeah.
That is one thing that I have to say is phenomenal, is they are fabulous about alerting us not only on our signs on the actual roads, but through those apps and
especially the state. ADOT. Some of the cities and towns can maybe get a little bit better with that.
Well, cities, but as Arizona goes, they do a really good job. Really pleased with that.
All right, so our number one thing that we wish people let us know. If you're hot and you've been outside and maybe you did mow your lawn or you did some landscaping and you want to come in and take that cold shower.
Doesn't that sound great?
You're going to have to wait until November.
Oh gosh, it's so true. Yeah, there's no cold water.
So none. This morning on my shower, I turned it as low because it's when I turn it on, it's cold, and then you slide it around, it gets hotter.
Right.
And so I had it so water was coming out, but not much else.
Meaning you were just turning on until you started to see water.
And it was still a hot shower.
Yes, I know.
Hot shower. Yeah. So in Arizona, we have water tanks that sit in the sun. We have the pipes go in the ground, but the ground is not cool.
Right.
And so there's no way for the water to cool off at any point. And then the best you can do is go a couple days without using water, and maybe it's been sitting in your house long enough but once you get through that couple gallons, then you're getting to the heat again.
Yeah. I had our great new neighbors. They've lived here now just a year. They bought their house in May but didn't move in until the end of July last year. Seems I'm seeing a trend. People are moving here in July. Yes, it's still a good time to move here. When they moved in, we introduced ourselves, welcomed them to the neighborhood. They came from Wisconsin. So
go Pack, go.
Yeah, go Pack, go. And literally, I think it was a day after they moved in, I get a phone call from my neighbor Rachel, and she says, Angela, I'm sorry to bother you, but you're a realtor, so you know a lot about houses. Mm-hmm. It was the middle of the day, and her husband had gone to work, and she said, I don't think my cold water is working. And I just started to giggle. And I said, well, Rachel, let me introduce you to Arizona. We have no cold water. And she was just, I was on the phone, but I could hear her jaw drop.
Yeah.
She was like, what are you talking about? There's no cold water. So, it absolutely does not exist.
Well, and just so you know, the same is true of swimming pools.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Now, I have a client, bought a house with a pool. It is PebbleTech. It is not that deep. It sits in the sun. It's got a little bit of shade, and that thing holds on to cold for some reason.
Nice.
I've seen the identical pool that is bathwater by mid-July.
Oh, yes.
And so, a lot of pools just know that you're going to go swimming, and being in a 70-degree pool is not going to happen here.
Yeah, you talk about, the pool water being like bath water. I have a great client, and they bought a house with me like 4 or 5 years ago with us, and the backyard, absolute oasis. Mm-hmm. The grotto with the rock slide into the pool and a hot tub, and just absolutely amazing. And, they're sitting here going, oh my gosh, they hadn't owned a pool,
mm-hmm.
So they were so excited about it. And I'm reading all the, information about the pool, and, it had this supplemental part. It had a heating system and a cooling system. This pool was over $100,000 installed, and they were asking me, they're like, okay, I understand the heating part of it, because in the wintertime our pools get cold, and the great part is the ambient temperature outside in our wintertime is still great for sitting in a hot tub or sitting in a pool if you have a heated pool. They were awestruck and just dumbfounded as to a cooling system. Yeah. They bought in May. In July, I get a phone call. They're, Angela, we love our cooling system in our pool, because it feels like bath water in the majority of pools that we have. We can run aerators throughout the night, to circulate that cooler air. Yeah, it's 95 at night, but it's cooler to keep the temperature from getting really unbearably warm in our pools. But so it's kind of funny.
I just went out to my hot tub to check on the chemicals. In the summer, I turn it to 80 as low as I can turn the heater. And I open it up, and it is 111. It's set to 80. Now, it's got a cover on it, but...
Sure.
It's 111. You're not going to want to go in there.
No, don't cook your kids, Scott. Just don't cook your kids.
Well, thank you, Angela. I appreciate you sharing all these things that
this has been
we wish
great.
We knew. We now know them. We're about 20 years deep into Arizona, and if we missed anything, just drop it in the chat or email us, and you can just visit us at state48homeowner.com.
And make sure to share this podcast with people that visit.
Yeah.
You don't have to be living here, but if you do come and visit, you're going to want to know a lot of this as well. So make sure to share.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks for spending time with us this week at State 48 Homeowner, the ins and outs of owning an Arizona home. You can connect with us for more information, submit topics you'd like us to discuss further, and you can see relevant videos, give us feedback, answer your real estate questions, and more at state48homeowner.com.